Dragon Age Veilguard is woke garbage. I know that, you knew that, everyone with a functioning frontal lobe knows that, except game journalists, because their brains just don't work. They call this a 10 out of 10 banger masterpiece, but now some of them are calling it shit. What is happening?
All right, guys, so I really don't know what's going on in terms of the mainstream media right now with the gaming journalism and their sudden, weird, kind of just out of nowhere attacks that they're doing on Dragon Age the Veilguard. Out of nowhere, they just completely turned the page and they went 180 in the opposite direction because they all went from praising the Veilguard and giving it 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, and talking about how stunning and brave it is and how amazing the character creator is. And now all of a sudden, they're all trying to say that the game is a bad look for the overall message that is trying to portray, which, don't get me wrong, I do agree with. I just find it highly sus that all of them are saying this at the exact same time.
Woke, woke.
To be fair, this is not the first time that has happened. The gaming journalists have praised something and then just magically turned against it.
Now, I know a lot.
You know what I honestly wonder here? Games that are being made can't really just give game journalists money and say, okay, now you give us a 10 out of 10. That's wrong. That's, I think, illegal, by the way. But give a game developer giving a games outlet money and saying, hey, buddy, we're gonna give you this money, and we really want you to cover Dragon Age Veilguard, for the next month or so. Hey. And, that's it. They're not explicitly saying you need to cover this in a good light, in a good way. But everyone knows what that obviously means, right? It's effectively a bribe, but technically, I don't know if this is a legal gray area or not, but I mean, Nancy Pelosi got paid multiple millions as Hillary Clinton for consultations and shit. For companies that they decided the future with legislations with. And, is it the same type of gray area? Does this happen? I think it honestly probably does, considering how often this happens. Game comes out, journals are and then, 2 weeks pass and it's like, it's shit.
A lot of people like to make the joke, oh, the money must have came in, the check must have cleared, blah, 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 whatever. But I don't think you guys understand what Access Media actually is. Access Media is not going to want to risk their access to the media. Like, that's the entire point. They don't want to risk the access to the mainstream industry. And by saying the things that they're saying, especially about Dragon Age the Veilguard, especially considering...
I understand this point, but what does the Access Media, what can the Access Media do? Well, not the Access Media, but what can game developers honestly do after this, okay? Either they clear the checks and say, hey, please give us good reviews, and here's your early thing, and that's it, or they get shafted from the start. And considering most YouTubers and whatnot are not gonna lie in favor of Bethesda, because then they're gonna get called shills and everyone can recognize them a literal mile away, does this still not happen? This is the thing. This is the line that we honestly don't know, is it being crossed or not, and how exactly it works. There could be situations where they do this. There could be situations where they don't do this. There could be situations where there's gaming news outlets that are fearful of losing this, and there may be big ones that are not fearful of losing anything. It's really hard to say. Maybe it's just served by each type of basis thing, but who knows?
That has to do with trans people. I just find it very interesting that they're all willing to do this when they were just praising the game not even a week prior to all of these articles coming out right now. So let's get into this article from The Gamer. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, I saw this headline from The Gamer, and again, The Gamer is one of these websites that are extremely woke, obviously.
The Gamer gave Dragon Age Veilguard a 4 out of 10.
You guys know this already. The gamer has a certain agenda, just like all of them do. And it's all the same exact agenda. But the headline reads, Dragon Age the Veilguard is that friend that's too woke. And this one is from Tessa. I don't even know how to say this last name, but
listen, okay? You don't... I can already smell the septum piercing from here, okay? You can also kind of vaguely see it, okay? So, this is not a person who is probably ever going to be caught dead without very, very, very specific reasons saying woke bad in any way, most likely.
But just looking at the picture, you can pretty much tell that this is the kind of person that would enjoy a game like this. But apparently, the game is too woke. What do they mean by that? Let's find out. So it says, if you're chronically online as I am, you know the meme, and I've been playing Dragon Age the Veilguard, I can't stop thinking about it. Originating from a video skit where a woman refuses to laugh at the Four Seasons Orlando baby because there are worse things happening in the world, the phrase has largely been used as the anti-intellectual cudgel against any kind of remotely sociologically critical social media post. It's used to deem people party poopers for caring
Holy shit, that's a lot of words that I am not qualified enough to understand.
about things mostly. I much prefer the way it used to be by people who declare themselves the friend that's too woke because I am that friend that's too woke. I think it's intellectually lazy to complain about people having critical thinking being too woke because they say that your words or actions might be offensive. I am the friend who rolls
This statement is stupid because it implies by default that too woke is the right way of thinking, and that's why the phrase too woke doesn't actually hold any weight, because it is the objectively right way to be. Which, as we all know, is a very, very, very popular thing for woke people to do. AKA sniffing their own farts on how much superior and better as humans they are about you. Well, over you.
their eyes when people talk about GPT to write their emails. The friend who boycotts brands out of solidarity. The friend who corrects people when they misgender someone. Oh, you sound like a great time. Like, you sound like a great time. If you're one of those people who are like, it's ma'am, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm good.
It's
people
ma'am.
pejoratively call me woke all the time, and I don't consider it to be a mark of shame. The Veilguard, however, is woke in a bad way because it's so terrified of being offensive that it erases everything interesting about Dragon Age. Now, I can understand where they're coming from, where this person's coming from.
I can't, honestly. I don't understand how someone can say woke can't be bad, but too woke is because it doesn't want to be offensive. But that's the whole shtick of woke. You can't be offensive because being offensive is wrong. And woke doesn't do anything that's wrong.
Because when you play the Veilguard, you literally feel like you're walking on eggshells the entire time. You kind of feel like your character is meant to be, I don't know, the therapist of your companions. That's really how it feels. And as much as I like to joke about that and whatnot, I'm dead serious when I say that. Every single interaction with Rook and the companions is him or them or whatever the fuck you want to call them. They're trying to be the therapist of their companions. They're constantly trying to solve emotional issues that their companions are going through. There's not a single moment where it's
Oh yeah, in this this game, every time you're fighting, someone's yelling, "Are you okay? Are you fine? Want to talk about it? Want to talk about our feelings?" It's so stupid.
just like a normal interaction. It's always something that requires a therapist. It's pretty damn insane. But then it says, what does it mean to be too woke? Well,
To be honest, without the left, therapy doesn't even exist as a thing currently. That's so. By the way, the amount of people on the left who are going to therapists is insane.
there's something to
And they're not going to therapists because they want to become better or understand themselves or any of the shit that, therapists are actually supposed to do. They're just effectively hiring someone to say, yes, everything you are saying and thinking is correct. Damn, I should be a therapist because that's really easy.
be said about people who act entirely out of fear of being offensive and taking themselves so seriously that they scrub all nuance out of their interactions. This is a highly subjective and personal thing, but I feel
Well, nuance is dangerous because nuance makes you look at things critically by default. It's an inherent part of a nuanced discussion. it makes you look at things that are not always comfortable for everyone. It makes you contemplate ideas that typically you don't, and to perceive things in a different way that you typically do. It inherently forces you to be critical about something. So Vogue doesn't really do nuance. They do broad strokes and swings.
Most accepted for who I am, well, my friends can joke about my intersectional identities. I agree with that. You see, like that, it's amazing just how much we can agree on certain things if we actually just sit down and have a conversation. You know what I mean? I can agree with that because I am constantly saying that all things should be allowed to be joked about, right? Nothing should be off limits, because if you start making things off limits, then you start creating protected classes, and then you start making those protected classes feel like they are above everyone else. If you cannot joke about them, if you cannot make a funny about them, then they are clearly above everyone else in a way that nobody else.
Smart words from a Latinx person. Eh? Eh?
Will understand, because apparently you're allowed to joke about everyone else, right? This is why I don't like the fact that people try to get fake offended over racial jokes about black people, but then you're going to sit there and be perfectly fine with racial jokes about anyone else. You'll make all the Mexican jokes you want. You'll make all the white jokes you want. But God forbid you make a black joke. Oh, no, that's not allowed. Yeah, fuck that.
Pussies.
I'm not for that kind of mindset. Never have been, never will be. And you'll have fake ass people on Twitter trying to pretend like they are and that this is how it should be. But I'm never going to be that way. Then it says it's funny when I send a picture of a woman with the caption "She's so beautiful" to the group chat, and I get a string of replies of just the word "gay." It's funny when my partner calls me "knobby" as shorthand for non-binary. It's funny when I talk about being biracial or bisexual, and my friends tell me to pick a side. That's the spirit of good comedy. Good-spirited ribbing is an acknowledgement that they see me.
Holy shit, this woke person almost seems like a reasonable, legit existence, which is strange. That shouldn't happen. I mean, do we have a glitch in the Matrix?
For what I am, and they're going to lovingly bully me anyway. Hey, listen to this.
Well, anyway, all of these opinions are probably going to get expunged real quick, because when a person like this writes something like that, and it's on the internet, people are going to attack her. No questions asked. They're just gonna do it. Because this is a severely wrong thing. And, well, you gotta be put back in the line. Okay? That's probably gonna happen. This is the first and last time opinions like this will ever be done by this person. Because, yeah, we have seen this already many times. You tried, but they got you.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's why, like, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with that mindset. Like, you should be allowed to joke about everything. That was such a better place to live. You know what I mean? Like, when the world was allowed to joke about anything and we just had true actual comedy, that was when everybody was happier. When comedy died, so did the spirit of the world, in my opinion. And that's where we need to bring comedy back. We need to bring the ability to make fun of everybody. This is kind of why I like Dave Chappelle so much, because he makes fun of everyone, and people lose their minds when he makes fun of the certain class, you know, the certain protected class. Nobody gets mad when he makes fun of black people, but that's only because he's black. If he was white, if Dave Chappelle was white, you absolutely know that he would get roasted to all end for making jokes about black people. But because he's black, that's okay, and they allow that. But the moment he went after trans people, oh, no, you can't do that. Then it says the Veilguard has only good guys. Now, this is a big problem for me personally. I've been talking about this while playing Veilguard. I cannot stand...
I mean, everyone has been talking about this. Veilguard is just shit. You can't do anything that actually hurts your companion's feelings in reality. You can't really do anything to damage anything. And, well, yeah, you can only be the good guy. Being bad is not an option because it's a role-playing game. Because surgery scars.
The fact that as you play Veilguard, the Rook character feels like a therapist, feels like the good old guy, feels like Mr. Rogers, feels like Goody Two-Shoes. I just feel like no matter what you pick, no matter what you choose, even if you go down...
No matter what you pick or what you choose, at some point you're going to fuck up because it's going to be a gay romance option. That's what it's going to be.
The aggressive path, which I've been doing for every single conversation outcome, you still end up just being a good old boy. Then it says, as many people, including our own James Troughton, have already complained, every member of the Veilguard gets along too well, even when they really shouldn't. Everybody's nice to each other, and disagreements are smoothed over quickly, if there are any to begin with. Everybody's self-sacrificing and noble, and none of them have controversial beliefs. Your rook is just as inoffensive, never saying anything that could step on anyone's toes. Any dialogue you choose is going to be basically the same. Joking responses are never sarcastic or mean-spirited. Aggressive responses are never hostile, just resolute. You can't pick fights with your companions. You can't even really lose approval with them because of the way the game is designed. And again, that's the biggest
True. True, you can't lose approval with them, that's true. There's no consequences for doing everything against the companion's beliefs, which should be against all of the companion's beliefs because they're all the same. Okay? Starfield had exactly the same problem, by the way. You had, hey, I'm an ex-pirate. This is the lodge. We all do different things, but we have one goal, and that's what matters. And all of them are goody two-shoes that can't do anything. Anything, and the moment you do something negative, they're all like, horrible. Yeah, it's stupid.
In this game, the simple fact that Rook is just one of those characters that doesn't have any nuance to them, right? Like Rook is just the good old boy. And unfortunately, the companions are the same exact way. It's one fake-ass happy family. And that's the entire feeling you get when you interact with them, right? Every time they get together at that table and they have a little bit of an interaction, you just feel like...
Well, all of the companions are woke, so they can't really be evil to begin with because that's kind of just blatantly impossible.
Like, this is so fake. You feel like the entire interaction between all the characters and the way that they're talking to each other, it almost feels like a family that is trying to pretend to be nice to each other when behind closed doors, they all hate each other. You know what I mean? But they never get to that point. They never speak about it openly. So you all think that everybody loves each other. It's kumbaya. But then secretly, everybody hates each other. And then it says every faction is scrubbed of flaws. There's already a total lack of interpersonal conflict in the game.
And if it's not scrubbed of flaws, the factions are just stupid. Oh boy, man. Hey, I would enjoy. I think the Dragon Age Veilguard thing is over. I think no one really cares, but it's just funny now that everyone has stopped caring. Some reviews are gonna be like, Dragon Age Veilguard actually shit. It's funny. Anyway, that was Hypno. 10 out of 10. Bye.